Hi, it's week 3, and this is our Ennea-Insight, the heart types, and how we seek love, validation, and how we wrestle with shame. All right, so we're going to talk about the heart types, and that's types 2, 3, and 4. And if you lead from one of these types, your emotional world is front and center for you, whether you admit it or not. Now, heart types process the world through relationships, emotions, and self-worth. But when we get real, underneath all that is a deep, unspoken relationship with shame. And while the body types wrestle with anger, the heart types struggle with shame, the fear that they aren't enough just as they are. And that shame, it fuels the need to seek love, validation, and to identify they seek this love, this validation, and identity from the outside world. So today we're going to break that down. How do heart types seek love and validation? How does shame drive their behaviors? How do they get stuck? And what's the real solution? Let's continue talking about this shame that the heart types don't always realize is running the show for them. Shame isn't just feeling bad about something you've done. That's guilt. Shame is deeper. It's that feeling that there's something wrong with you, that you're not enough just as you are. And here's the thing. Heart types carry shame like a quiet, heavy weight. They don't necessarily talk about it. They may not even realize it, but they act from it every single day. Type 2s fight shame by making themselves indispensable. If I'm needed, I'm loved. And type 3s, they outrun shame by achieving. If I succeed, I'm valuable. Type 4s, they avoid shame by being different. If I'm unique, I matter. It starts early in life. Maybe you felt like you had to be a certain way to be accepted, to be helpful, to be impressive, or to be special. Maybe you felt invisible unless you were proving something. So you started building your worth externally and through what you did rather than who you were. And here's the problem with that. You can spend your entire life chasing validation, but nothing external ever fully erases shame. It just keeps you running. So if you are a heart type, here's the real work. Recognizing that you don't have to prove anything. Love, worth, value, it's already yours. The question is, do you believe it? Let's talk about how each heart type seeks validation and deals with shame. Type 2, the helper. If I'm needed, I'm loved. If you lead from type 2, you've really mastered the art of reading people's needs before they even realize that they have them. This was your survival tactic from way back when, probably before you even remember. You're warm, you're generous, you're quick to offer help. But when it gets down to it, sometimes you overgive to the point of exhaustion. Now, the shame trap for the type 2s is that deep down, you fear that without your acts of service, you aren't worthy of love. You give because you're terrified of being unneeded. And if people don't express appreciation, you start to feel resentful. Now, the growth move for the type 2 is to recognize that your worth isn't tied to how much you do for others. You don't have to prove your worth through overfunctioning. So type 2s, ask yourself, would these people still love me if I stopped overextending myself? If that thought freaks you out, then you probably have some work to do. All right, type 3 is the achiever. Your motto, if I'm successful, I'm worthy. Type 3s are masters of adaptation and goal smashing for sure. You know how to read the room, perform, and win. But here's the problem with type 3s. If you've built your entire identity on being impressive, what happens if you slow down? Who are you when no one's applauding? Now, the shame trap for the type 3 is you base your self-worth on external success and achievement, which means that slowing down, failing, or even just not being the best feels like a crisis to you. And deep down, you fear that if you aren't achieving, you're nothing. So the growth move for the type 3, stop outsourcing your self-worth to performance and image. Your value isn't what you do, it's who you are. So ask yourself this: would I feel valuable if I weren't achieving anything? And if that question makes you uncomfortable, it's worth sitting with for a while. Now, type 4, your motto is, if I'm unique and deep, I matter. Type 4s feel everything deeply. They see beauty, meaning, and intensity in places that others miss. But here's the struggles for the type 4. If you're always seeking significance and depth, you might start believing that being ordinary means being invisible. Now, the shame trap for the type 4, you fear that if you aren't different, that you'll be forgotten. So you create distance between yourself and others, believing that your depth sets you apart. But that search for significance can turn into a cycle of comparison and self-doubt. So the growth move for the type 4 is, your worth isn't in being different, it's in being present. You don't have to be in constant emotional spiral to prove you matter. So ask yourself this: am I looking for meaning, or am I addicted to feeling special? Now that one's tough, but it's real. So the truth that heart types need to hear is, shame tells you that you aren't enough, that you have to earn love, that you have to prove your worth. But here's the truth: you're already enough. Type 2, you're worthy even when you're not helping. And type 3, you're valuable even when you're not achieving. And type 4, you matter even when you're not feeling profound emotions. Now, at the end of the day, the real work for heart types is learning to validate themselves instead of relying on the outside world to do it for them. So if you can do that, that's when the real freedom starts to happen for the heart types. So that's your heart type breakdown. There's more. Check out the full deep dive narrative lessons for more detailed insights, real life applications, and growth strategies. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next time.